everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is SG. We are back reviewing Ready to Love, episode 7, season 4, Friend Zone. So tonight we're going to recap. I have a few takeaways from tonight because what happened? Like what happened? Anyway, please excuse the situation that's happening here, you guys. I recorded my podcast before I recorded this episode, and my curls are defiant. They're going to do what they want to do. It is what it is. I'm not worried about it. Before we get started, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, what your thoughts are. If you have any add-ons, like don't leave your girl hanging. Let me know what you think as well. Anyway, let's get into tonight's episode because it was some foolery happening. I will borrow Ms. Rox's saying, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and say there is some foolishness going on. And I'm over it. All right, let's get into it. So Tommy meets up with the men and they all, are ready to get the week started. They're always so happy to see each other. I like to see men getting along though. And I like to see women getting along. And I like to see the two getting along. So I wish men and women got along a little better. But anyway, they all meet up. And Tommy tells the men that now the ladies have to meet your family or friends, people that are close to you. And everybody's talking about how brutal their friends are and their families are and how they're going to give it to them and they're going to hold no punches. So I'm like, okay, well, we're going to see what happens. Because, here's the thing. Let me get on a little soapbox. I understand this is for the show. And this week made me realize for sure that this is really just a show. I know I should have realized that earlier, but they sold a different dream. This is just a show. So putting that aside, in real life, I do not believe in getting your friends too involved with your relationship. I am okay with, your family and friends meeting your significant other once you've decided that this is something I want to take to the next level. But you have to be very careful because you never know where people really are in their relationships. And another thing is, people don't really know their friend in a relationship. You can know your friend as your friend, but you don't know them in an intimate relationship. And I saw a lot of that here tonight, and I want to touch on it a little bit. So first up on our dates, we have Joelle and Vernisha, and we have KG Smooth and Amber. I'm just going to talk about them separately because they were going back and forth between the two, and I don't want to confuse myself for you. All right, so Joelle cooking crab legs. I miss New Orleans. I gotta go down there. I gotta get me some food. I'm allergic to seafood, but baby, I promise you, I make a way when I have to get down there. I will Benadryl myself to death. Don't you try that at home, though. Okay. Anyway, Joelle has one female friend and two males there. I think one was his brother. I'm not sure if they were really related or not. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I'm gonna be honest. And something has happened. For one, I talked about in last episode how I feel like the editing is a little off, and this affirms what I was saying. Something about something has gone on between the two of them, right? That's number one. And then number two, the energy that the female friend was giving off was like, I mean, what's good, you know? And then Vernisha was in a place of, he know this is what he wants and I'm what he needs. So we just need to skip all of this and we're gonna get married. Ladies, until you guys have committed, until that conversation has been had, until you have agreed on what it is together, the two of you are just dating. That's the takeaway. You are dating until you two have decided to commit and come up with the terms and the conditions of your relationship. Until then, I don't care how good you think you are for that man. I don't care what you think you can, what kind of value you can bring in that man's life. Because if he isn't in the right place to receive who you are, he is going to hurt you, and vice versa. Because there are women who do that as well. We got to stop with this. We have to stop with this. Just because we had some good conversations, some butterflies, or even some sex, whatever it may be, that we are all now we on this page. If that's not what you guys have agreed on, that's not what it is. That's just like somebody dropping a car off, giving you the keys like that's your car. That's not your car until the papers on that car says your name. Okay. Other than that, it isn't yours. So Vernisha's kind of like, oh, well, I come here, I'm ready to get married. I'm getting married. Renisha's like, and it's gonna happen. And Joel sit over there like, I don't know. I'm not sure. The jury is still out. Renisha says she's territorial. And again, this is in an environment where you really can be territorial because you guys aren't, monogamous yet. I can understand if you guys were a couple on the show. That's one thing, but you're not. And we don't own our partner. You don't own that person. You really don't. So you can't be that territorial. She says when he calls the other lady's baby, they feel like there's a connection. And I haven't heard that, but there's some weird editing happening. So we'll see. But I don't really hear anybody talking about Joel that way. I would say this: if you've ever been in New Orleans, you would know that everybody gets called baby. That's one of my things that I love. Hey, baby, you gonna eat big? Everybody gets called baby. It's just a term of endearment. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a Southern thing, and if you go to New Orleans, that's how they talk. It doesn't mean that there's interest in anyone else. He's been directing his interest, as far as we know, towards you, Vernisha. So why are you worried about him calling other people baby? But I haven't heard that. No one even talks about Joel like that. Since Tressa left, she was the only other person that really was like, I'm into him. But no one else has said that. So I don't know where she gets that from. I'll be interested to see what's going to happen at the reunion, because that's usually when we get more clips and we can see what happened. She says she doesn't want to share. She wants to get married. Joel's like, well, I got to make sure that you are right. This is what happened. Joel's like, she's pushing me. She's going too hard, too fast. And I'm concerned. And I don't know how much you're going to try to take over my life. So I don't think Joel still continues to feel like Vernisha is right for him. And I said on one of the reviews, I can't remember, where I talked about they don't really go into depth, at least on the show, about learning and getting to know each other, and I think he's starting to see a side of her now that he is concerned about. But she's like, I chose you, you chose me, let's go. But he's like, I don't know if I chose you yet. Hold on. So we'll see. Next, we have KG Smooth and Amber. KG Smooth is doing a radio show. He's recording a podcast, and he has two of his coworkers / friends there to meet with Amber. They seem very happy to see each other, very happy to be around one another. You know, they're cool. So Amber was asked basically about how she deals with, was that how she deals with conflict? And Amber said, I'll raise my voice, but I'm not going to cuss you out. She's like, I'll raise my voice, but I'm not going to cuss you out, which is really a good thing. I really believe that you shouldn't be disrespectful towards your partner. That's your partner. That's somebody that you're supposed to love, honor, and respect and cherish. So why would you cuss them out? You cuss people out that you don't care for, not the person that you love. They asked Amber, has she told about her family? She's like, no, I haven't told my family about him. And Chris is like, KG is like, I haven't told my family about her either. Like, you see, y'all meeting her. My family's not meeting her. And here's the thing. Until you know that this person is a person that you really want to invest yourself in, and that you guys are planning on taking the relationship to the next level, be mindful about introducing that person to your family, because then relationships are formed, alliances are formed, miscommunication happens, meaning this person may think you guys are going to the next level because you brought me home to meet your family when you don't really, see them in your future. I think it's best to hold off on meeting the close family and friends until you guys know for sure what's going on. And then if you want to do it then do it then. Personally, you can't meet my family until we are engaged. If we're not engaged, meet my family. And we're not meet my family. That's it. If we're not getting married, there's no reason for you to meet my family. But that's how I feel. Everybody else is different. And I have dated people that are different than that. It's up to you. But for me, no. I just think there needs to be a clear definition as to where we're going, because that's a level of intimacy and vulnerability for me, for you to come into my life and meet those who I cherish. So I need to know for sure we're doing something other than dating or spending time together before I will move forward with you meeting the people that I protect. Next, we have, oh, I'm sorry, getting back to this. So Amber says that she's looking for her soulmate. Amber, you're looking for a husband. I want you to say you want a husband, but that can be your soulmate. But she says she wants a soulmate, and I think that's because, Chris is like, if you want to get married, we can get married because I need something higher. And Amber is a little happy that the people said that they confirmed that they think that they are a perfect match. And I always warn people to be cautious of that. You need to feel it. You need to know it. Like your gut should say, yeah, this person is the one for me. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily what everyone else is saying, just Amber girl, I'm telling you, just trust yourself. But I actually think they really like each other, and I think they have a good thing going. My concern is when Amber decides to have children or things like that. Like once the relationship progresses, I don't know that Chris is going to give her the support that she needs. Chris is a good girl guy friend, though. He's a good guy friend to have for women because he's very loving and compassionate and very gentle with the people he deals with and things like that. And I think that's great. I just think that she may not get future support that she needs if they decide to have children. I think she wants to get married, but she will settle for not getting married. Things like that later breeds resentment. So you just have to be very careful about being okay with that, you know? So, but they seem to make each other happy. They light up and glow. Chris is so happy, Chuck. Chris is happy. Chris is like, she a DA. She's an assistant DA. Did you know? Did I tell you? So we'll see. I wish them the best, though. I don't wish any bad on anyone. I just think you have to make an informed decision and make sure you don't ignore the red signs when you're dating, and be honest about what it is that you really want and know what you want. Don't go shopping for a car and you don't know what you want. You just end up with anything and then you'll regret it later when your car note is $1,000. So be careful. Next, we have Jason, Liz, and Kyra. So they're meeting Jason's friends. They are playing indoor golf or something, putt or some sort. I don't know. And I finally got a chance to catch up on a lot of reviews, and people were saying how Jason seems a little immature. This is the first time that I've really, really seen it, and I'll get to it in a little bit, but I don't know. I just want to go ahead and say Liz should just leave the show. You know, I don't really see anybody. You guys know I don't care for David, and yeah, she should just leave. The right person isn't here for her, and I really like Liz, and I believe she deserves more than what they're giving her. But anyway, So Liz comes in. She's like, Jason, come here. Don't leave me. Show me how to do this. She's like, let's get romantical. Jason, like, okay. And then Kyra comes in, and Kyra's like, I'm not going to say I'm a little taken aback, but I'm a little taken aback. Kyra's territorial and competitive. And so I don't know why he did the date like this. I think it should have been one-on-one. I don't know why they couldn't have just had Kyra there and then had Liz there, or vice versa. Why they had to be there at the same time, I don't know. But then they get into the friends ask some questions about about what Kyra was looking for, or what they were looking for. Kyra asked his friends to describe Jason, and they're selling it, and this is just me. This is me, guys. This is from my experience. When people start super selling folks, it has never worked out well. It turns out they want you to save this person from themselves. And you know how I feel about that. No one can save you, and you can't save a person, right? But the family is like, whoo, you good, come here, help this out. They are great, they are wonderful, they are, and they're really selling Jason. And I'm not saying I think Jason is a bad guy. I'm just always cautious when people are selling other people. Jason seems surprised. I'm like, if these are your closest friends, why are you surprised if they feel and think the way that they think about you? The same thing happened with AJ. Like, you guys aren't used to you guys don't talk about how you feel or what you think about one another. Like, why are y'all friends? That was kind of puzzling to me. I don't understand. Kyra, they asked Kyra about being a leader. They posed a question about leadership or household or something. I don't know. And Kyra says she wants a man to leave. And I'm like, I'm not sure if Jason's going to be the leading type. He'll happily be in a relationship with you. I don't know if he is the take charge type that Kyra may need, though, or Liz for that fact. But I don't know, because we haven't really had the opportunity to see that. He seems very enduring and supportive. But I'm not sure if he's gonna just like jump out and take the lead. Liz says she needs a guy who can lead spiritually in the relationship. And then Liz is talking about Jesus Christ as her savior. I was like, you better tell him, Liz. And then she talked about how Jason broke down the whole book of Daniel. So they've had these conversations where they basically have talked about the Bible and religion, which is what I think made Liz look at him another way. I'm not sure that's really where he is right now, though. I'm not sure he is that guy. I think he became physically attracted to Liz. I think he became physically attracted to Liz, and that's kind of where it is. I'm not sure that he is really sold on Liz completely. But I don't know. I think Jason's just trying to figure it out. That's the vibe I'm getting. So the ladies leave, and Jason's friends say they like Kyra. They think Kyra is a better fit for Jason. They think that Liz is stiff, and Liz isn't stiff. She's a lady. She came in, she's a CEO. Okay, Liz came in and was like, she was herself. She was funny. She was light. She was dressed appropriately. She had like a little cut off jeans on and things like that. Like, Liz isn't. She didn't come in with a turtleneck and covered from head to toe. You know, I don't like the fact that they tried to box Liz in. You can tell Liz is fun and a nice person, but she is attached to her religion and her spirituality, and that's just who she is. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that, because she doesn't appear to be toxic with it. There are some people that's very toxic. She doesn't appear to be. So next up, we have Jason and we have Kyra and AJ. They're going to play volleyball. Again, there's one, all of them have one female friend. I find that very interesting. We're going to talk next week on a podcast about whether or not men and women can be friends. Kyra seems to be on alert with all the female friends. Like, have y'all been together? Because I need to know. So, which is fair enough to want to know, because you want to know if there's some old feelings there. I think that may have happened to her in the past, and that's why she's so concerned about it. But anyway, they talk about communication from jump, because AJ doesn't communicate. I can't blame Kyra. Kyra communicates very well. She asks very intentional questions. She answers like, yeah, but AJ doesn't communicate well. And so they're playing a game, they're playing volleyball, and AJ asks Kyra, do you have it? And she was like, no. And he still was just like, what's going on? Child. Yeah, no, I'm not sold on AJ either. So they talk about the communication, that there is a communication problem. The female friend asks Kyra, you know, how do you feel about female friends? And Kyra was like, I have to feel the relationship out, which is an honest answer and which is actually smart because I need to know what's going on here. If you are an adult, we all have seen those situations where people tolerate other things from the person that they're dealing with. I need to know what's going on with you guys. Are you guys truly friends, or are you a friend in waiting, or were you part of the past? Like, am I gonna have to worry about you being involved in our relationship? So I get it. I'm a Kyra on that. I need to know what kind of friends you are. And I have a guy friend. I have guy friends actually, but so I feel like it's possible, but it's just like, okay, well, what is you guys, what type of relationship do you guys have? What's the history? I need more context. And I get her there. The other friend asked Kyra what kind of book, what was the last book she read. They never answered that question, but Kyra's like, oh, so you guys want to ask questions? Like, oh, I'm an attorney, honey. I got some questions for you. So she starts asking them questions about him and whether or not they feel like he's ready to love. And they're like, yeah, but you can tell they're not really sure. And the female's like, well, he or was it the guy? I can't remember, but one of them was like, oh yeah, he's together in his career, he's steady in his career. So you know, they've talked about him and the whole date and the credit card situation. But you can tell that neither one of them felt like he's really ready. They just want him to be ready. They would like for him to be ready. He needs to settle down. That's the impression I got. He needs to settle down. So we're going to try to pawn him off on you. And we're going to support him through this process. But I don't think he's ready. That's just me. That's just me. Next up, child, we have Ron. Now, Ron, I just complimented you on your dates. And the date you pick up is y'all at the club looking like I don't know, Atlanta Nights. I was like, what? So Chrysanthemum, Alexis Fly, and Ron meet his friends at a club. They have a little private section. I purposefully don't talk about Alexis's style. Do I like her style? No, but I feel like everybody has the right to express themselves how they see fit. And if she feels like she's the coldest thing walking, who am I to say you're not the coldest thing walking? Here's the problem though. She was talking about Chrysanthemum. Now, Alexis, normally I'm cool with her because I think she's funny. I think she's entertaining, but I'm not for the come after the other woman. She's like, what does she have on? You wearing holes? Yeah, they are in a nightclub. She's wearing a bodysuit with Chrysanthemum had a bodysuit with holes up the side. They're in a nightclub. She's like, we're meeting his friends in a nightclub. Like if it was regular dinner or a dinner party or a ball or something, okay, but she was dressed appropriately for the occasion. Anyway, Chrysanthemum, this is the first time I saw Chrysanthemum and Ron really have more of a, you can tell why they kind of like each other. I never realized how much they were alike. That one-on-one date, they seemed to be okay, but this was more so he was like, yeah, she gets me. Alexis is like interview ready. She's like interview ready. Chrysanthemum is not here for the interview. She doesn't want to be in. They're asking questions about family and traveling and things like that. She's just like, yeah, I can travel. You know, I'm a flight attendant. Alexis like, she's a flight attendant. She doesn't really like the answer. Alexis is like, I have a kid, but I have a village and they can help. So she's kind of like going back and forth, like, yeah, I can do it, but no, I can't. And it's like, no, you really can't. But this again is where I say you have to decide what it is that you're looking for. Are you looking, what kind of partner, what kind of relationship? You have to evaluate your life and see what your life is okay with. I don't know why Ron and Alexis keep trying this out because I don't really see it working. Um, I think she just wants, it's like Alexis just wants everybody, she wants everybody to want her. But at the end of the day, you only can take one person home. And I don't think Ron is really it. I don't know about him and Chris together. I think they probably can just, have fun. But that may be enough for them. I don't know. No one has been really clear on what their goals are. So I can't tell you. Other than David. David said he wants to get remarried. Joel did too. But David wants to control, and now Joel is getting cold feet. And I don't know if it's warranted or not, but everybody's confused. It's so much like modern dating. It's ridiculous. Anyway, Chrysanthemum leaves the club early because she was like, I don't want all these questions. Alexa's like, I am ready for all of the questions. Good question. Everything is a good question. I'm like, okay, Alexis, girl, you don't want to answer them questions, but whatever. Kyra and Jason meet up. They do another date, and Jason has a gallery. I think there's been some intimacy there on a whole nother level, but we're gonna see. We'll find out later. But they meet and they talk. Jason says he really likes Kyra. Kyra's like, do you see a future with me? But then she goes back to AJ. I think Kyra wish she can merge the two of them together and get the honesty and kindness that Jason offers with the looks and quote unquote swag that AJ has. I think AJ just does it for her looks wise because they can't communicate, and that's been obvious. And she's been saying that, so it's like it's not conversation, really. And I don't think Jason really is her look, but Jason treats her like she wants to be treated, and Jason is more forward about him liking her and what he wants to do and how he wants to move forward. So he says he likes her. They kiss, and you know, that's it. I've never seen so many people kiss. Why do people kiss people they don't know that well? I have questions. You guys answer down below. Do you kiss people on a first, second date? Do you do that? Hmm. So the men meet up back at the men's lounge, and boy, let me tell you how tables have turned. Ego and immaturity is a bad cocktail. I'll just say that. So Joel says Vernisha is concerning because he thinks she's clingy. And Tommy was like, you had a good connection with her, right? Yeah. So get your life together. That's what Tommy wanted to say, but he didn't. But his face said it all. Um, and I don't know what's happening. I think Vernisha probably was ticked off about the kiss with Amber and probably gave Joel the business. And Joel didn't like it. That's what I think. That's what I think happened. Jason is next, and Jason talks about Kyra and Liz. Jason gets teary-eyed because his friends were complimenting him, and two women are interested in him. I can't say after. And he's gotten some positive feedback, and he's not used to that in history. And I understand that. But again, this is where we talk about healing. You got to be mindful about knowing what you deserve. You know what I mean? And the fact that these people are supposed to be your friends and you guys don't know how you feel about one another is concerning to me. I do recognize that everybody isn't so open and honest and don't communicate their feelings, but I feel like that is important because how are y'all friends? Why are y'all friends? You choose your friends. You don't choose your family, but you choose your friends who may become your family. So these people, it's important that the people that you know how you feel about them. So I just find that very interesting. But Jason tears up, and he's very happy. But he says Kyra is his pick. His friend said Liz was stiff. I don't think Liz is stiff at all. Liz is a lady and she's a woman, and she gives you just enough. There's layers to her. But I don't think she is stiff. But that's where I say the immaturity came in because they were laughing and giggling about it. And it's like, there isn't anything wrong with Liz. Tommy says if this process was to end today, because everybody was bull crapping around and he was sick of it. Tommy says that if this process was to end today, who are you going home with? AJ says Kyra. Joel says Kyra, but then says Vernisha's still his baby. So basically, you're mad at Vernisha, so you're just gonna say Kyra. That's immature, Joel. Now I was rooting for you. Okay, you acting crazy. Like, grow up, use your words, express yourself, state what your concerns are. Don't just say, "Oh well, Kyra." Kyra's my first because the baby made me mad. That's not how you handle things. That's not how you handle things. That's a bad sign. Because if you guys are in a relationship and she does something you don't like, then how are you going to react? Right. So that's not cool, Joel. Okay. Now get it together. You messing it up for the New Orleans people. Um, he still wants to be Vernisha. Vernisha probably just handed him his tail on a platter. He didn't like it. David says Kyra, but David is mad because Liz kissed Jason. And I think he just wants to get after Jason. I don't, you can tell that the editing is off and there's been more happening, but I don't see David being okay with Kyra because David wants someone to control. And Kyra is not going to have that. Liz will have it to an extent, he thinks, because she's a religious woman. But Jason, again, immature and his ego was hurt. He felt like Liz was his and his alone because Liz called David and said that she kissed Jason, but my heart is with you. And she didn't have to do that, honestly, because you guys are not an item. You're not together. But that's what she wanted to do because that's what she felt, right? But he's in his feelings and now he's lashing out like a 2-year-old. So of course KG says Amber because that's his boo. That's his assistant DA. So he's excited. David's like, how much time do I have? David basically picked Kyra. Then they talk about who they're not into. And the man said that Ron said Liz. And then David said Liz. Joel says Chrysanthemum. And his thing was Joel said that Chris said, you spend a lot of time with your kids. I'm like, girl, but Chrysanthemum wants someone to just be all about her. She wants you to love on her until she feels it's okay to love. That's her thing. And Joel's like, no. And you can't expect that from a man with kids. And KG Smooth put it out there. He was like, Chris doesn't want anything to do with anybody else. She wants you to be all about her. And that's true. Ryan got a little bit in his feelings. I was like, so Ryan, you feeling her more than what you want to admit to. Ryan got in his feelings, or he doesn't like KG Smooth, one of the two. And he's like, no, maybe she don't answer your call, because that's another thing they were all talking about. How Chrysanthemum basically plays them all dust. She won't answer their phone calls until later. She doesn't really show them interest. And Ryan was like, that's not the case for me. But I think she really does enjoy Ron, and not the other guys. But really, out of everybody, who is who other than Joel? And Joel's really showed that he's into Vernisha. So I can understand why she isn't really that interested in the rest of them. So they just talk about how Chris pays some dust, and that's pretty much it. So Ryan meets with Liz, and Ryan is so nervous, and Liz is like, oh, am I going home? Like, what's going on here? And he talks about how she's a lady. And see, this is how I like Liz. She handled this. He went on to talk about all her great attributes, but the men were worried if she was stiff and if this was really Liz. Liz has been very transparent. She just hasn't completely exposed herself, but she communicates who she is and what she wants and what's important to her. Now, does she send some mixed signals sometimes? Yes, because I'm like, Liz, if you really want to wait until marriage, you can't let folks touch and kiss and all that all over you, because you're not gonna make it, honey, unless you're gonna get married as soon as you guys leave the show. But I don't think she has had her guard up. And I don't think that she's been stiff. She's not wild, but she hasn't been stiff. Kyra and her kind of have the same demeanor, whereas they keep it together. They laugh, they joke, they let you know they're interested, but they are the lady. They want to be courted and pursued. So And actually, Liz has been a little more flexible than Kyra, because Kyra's like, as soon as you try to penetrate her, she turns it back on you. And that's how she operates. Liz has been more reciprocal. So I don't know what they're talking about. David is in his feelings. Jason wants Kyra because of his friends, and he doesn't need Liz anyway, truthfully. And I can see, him and Joelle never had anything in common. Her and Joelle, I should say. So I don't know. But Ryan tells her that she's ready to love. And he talks about how regal and beautiful and everything else she is. I like Liz's response. She was like, yeah, I'm gonna go back and evaluate that. That's such a business. That's such a business thing. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and evaluate that. But if they can't see who I am and they don't take it, that's on them. That's right, Liz. That is right, girl. And then KG Smooth meets with Chrysanthemum, and she is just as dry. Ooh, she is drier than toast that's been left in the toaster after 60 days. Liz is like, Chris said, KG is like, you smell good. I try. What is that? It's a secret. She like, I know why we're here. Let's just get to it. She's like, I'm not about to play with y'all. Let's get to it. What's up? You gonna tell me I need to work on this and work on that? KG was like, nah, they don't want you. You're going home. KG did say that the men felt like Liz doesn't, I'm sorry, Chrysanthemum doesn't like return. She doesn't return their calls and all that. And she's just like, ooh, like, but I said that the first episode, like, she's not really that interested in love like that. I don't feel like she's ready to let her guard down. And she felt like I think she's one of those people that you got to be in a struggle love relationship with her. I think once you have her, though, she's probably like the most loving, caring person ever. But you have to get through so many layers that a person shouldn't have to get what she really should just work on, dealing with whatever it is that's made her build these walls up as tall and as thick as they are. Um, KG was really nice. He handled her with kitten gloves. I think he kind of gets it, but at the same time, he's like, come on, girl. And Kirsten's like, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out why they sent me home, because they said they didn't. They weren't part of it. You didn't have a match there besides Ron, and you and Ron can date afterwards, because it's not gonna work with Alexis. Looking at next week's episode is really not gonna work. Which Alexis, Ryan told you he wasn't a church dude, and you tried to go with it anyway. And I think all of that is gonna kind of come out next week based on the episode. But all in all, I have a couple takeaways. Let me get my good old iPad here. And I've said all these things throughout. So if you want to end here, thank you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe and comment below. Okay. If you're going to stay, here we go. Takeaways. Know who you are when you're dating and know what you want when you're dating. Know the purpose of your dating. Don't waste your time. Okay. Keep your friends out of your relationships, especially if they're not healthy people or don't have healthy relationships, or if they really deep down want you. And when your friend wants you, when your friend wants more than a friendship and they're just a friend and waiting, right? Don't ignore the red flags. When you see those red flags, don't ignore them. Don't make excuses for them. You decide how you're going to move forward with the information that you have. Okay. You don't want to waste your time, and you don't want to get too far invested into this relationship and all of your red flags go up in flames. Um, don't let men make the final decision. Everybody's asking these men about the final decision. This is mutual. This is a relationship. This is a partnership between the two of you, right? So don't just let them make the decision. So if he says yes, even if you don't want to go, are you going to go? No. So don't let them make the decision. You make your decisions too. Sometimes you have to remove yourself, because I'm here to tell you, a man will string you along because you're like a blankie to them. But when they no longer need you, when they grow up and become a big boy and go be with somebody else, they're going to leave you in a chest box. Okay. So don't just let him make the decisions. Make sure he is intentional and he is communicating to you verbally and non-verbally that he wants to be with you. But the final decision, all of the decisions of whether or not you guys are going to be together, isn't completely up to him. If that person isn't giving you what you need, if they're not meeting your needs, if they are not intentional, if they are not healthy, you remove yourself. You don't wait for them. Okay. So, again, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment below and check out my podcast. Let the Ladies Speak on all podcast platforms, and then look for videos from me about Ready to Love while we're here. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, you guys. Thank you for letting me speak. Love you for who you are, and hugs and kisses. Bye bye.